I often think, what if I had stopped after feeling not accepted? What if I had stopped after being called terrorist? What if I had stopped after being told to go back to my country? Well, the simple answer is that if I had stopped, I wouldn't be standing here today. There are so many incidents that happens in your life, and those incidents are so strong that they can change you forever. Those incidents do break you, but they shape you in the best version of yourself. This is a story of a girl whose perfect and imperfect life made her who and what she is today. This is a story of a girl who was born in a war zone, never received a proper education, but now dreams of becoming a human rights lawyer one day. When the Taliban first took over the power in Afghanistan, just like many other Afghans, my parents shifted to Pakistan. My parents fled to Pakistan in order for their kids to have a better future, to be safe, and to receive a proper education. But unfortunately, that was not the case. I was born in a small town in Pakistan called Quetta. I was born in a community where girls are a sign of shame for some families and boys are always better. I was born in a community where good daughters never say no to their parents. Sleeping hungry some nights and not being able to buy books, pencils for school was normal for me. And often days I wore other kids' clothes because my single mother couldn't afford to provide us with new ones. Overall, the framework of life back in Pakistan was very simple. You did whatever you were told, but you did not say what you thought. These were all normal for me because I was raised in a way that I always got told that this is the only life I have and I just have to get used to it. This was fine. We were just young kids, we were happy, I was happy. Until 2013, when a bomb blast changed my life forever. More than 100 people died in my community and 4 were students from my school. I was only 12 years old that year. That night, I remember all of our lights went off and we're just sitting in the dark room and staring at the paint peeling walls. I remember the only thing that kept coming back to me was the sound of that bomb. That sound is still in my ears and will never go away. With that 3-second bomb blast, all of my hopes and dreams died as well. From that day on, shooting and bomb blasting became an everyday event. These were only targeted to my community, the Hazara minority tribe which I belong. With all of this that was happening, for the first time I was not happy. I started to question myself, my life, everything. Why me? Why us? Why my family? Why my people? Why is life so unfair? I saw how much the war destroyed communities and families. My family and I were in constant fear living in Pakistan, Quetta. Living in a war-zone country, life is fleeting. Some days your friend leaves and never come back. No one is safe. Imagine growing up in that. Now imagine knowing it to be normal. That's life in a war-zone country. My only dream as a young kid living in Pakistan was to just go to school, just like other kids. But unfortunately, this was not the case. However, I never lost hope. I knew that God had greater plans for me and my family. I knew that I can't just give up like this. I needed to give life another chance. Then came 2014, when I heard the news that my family and I were granted humanitarian visas to come to Australia, a country I never knew existed. After moving here, my framework of life began to change again. Firstly, I remember the first day that I arrived here. That day, I felt like I was born once again, and now I can finally say that all of my hopes and dreams are achievable. Secondly, things started to look different. I met people who were descended from all over the world. Faces, races, genders, religion, and so on. Starting life here, I had many new experiences, such as going to the park, sitting on a swing, and using trolley for shopping. We never did that in my country. And I was going to a big school. And one thing I looked forward the most was making Aussie friends, even though I couldn't speak a word of English back then. However, my new life here was bittersweet. Along with all the freedoms that I had and the new things that I was experiencing, my enthusiasm quickly disappeared. I didn't feel like I belonged here because I looked different. A young Afghan Hazara Muslim girl who wears the hijab. And because I looked different and I wear the hijab, I was either being called a terrorist or I was being told to go back to my country. And I'm not going to lie, it did hurt me and made me question myself again whether I was at the right place or not. However, one thing that I said earlier was that going to school was one of my biggest dreams. And when I started school here, things began to change again. School was an opportunity for me to learn more about myself. Ideas were flowing with more freedom in speech, and I experienced my own creativity. I started to feel like I have a right again, and I belong here. And I felt that through my body and through my soul. I started to appear more in public. I started to share my story with people. When I started to share my story, it made me realize how much I valued social advocacy for those of us who were silenced. I've always believed in the power of storytelling. I believe through storytelling, we are able to break many negative stereotypes amongst ourselves. To some people, I may not look like my journey, but I know in my heart how much my experiences have changed me to be a better person. It has taught me the power of self-love, confidence, and not giving up. Self-love and confidence has been the most important journey of my life and a journey that I'm still on. Self-love and confidence is something that we always underestimate the importance of. But I believe self-love and confidence is about getting inspired and getting started. It's about doing until it's done. It's about not giving up. I always do the solid work of staying ready. Because when you do the solid work of staying ready, anything in life is possible and nothing can break you. A few years ago, I was living in a war-zone country with no access to proper education. But today, I'm here to share the story of those who fear they will never make it out again. Dear everyone, I have not come this far in my life without the people that I now call community. My life revolves around my community. People in my community who are genuinely happy for me to be here in this beautiful country. Being a part of a community can make us feel as though we are part of something greater than just ourselves. It's my community that have provided me with love, opportunities to reach my goals and make me feel secure and safe. And it's my community. It's so important for every single person to have a sense of community. I believe community unites people instead of dividing them. I believe community is so important in empowering the future, especially for our next generation. I believe what makes a community perfect is when we feel someone's pain. And I felt that connection, that pain when I started sharing my story in my community. No other thing in life can connect people but pain. What makes a community is perfect when we go willingly out and help people. We make their day better with a smile. It's when we try to do something good for people. Community is when each individual member matter to one another. and I have felt that in my community. Australia is very dear to me. Our backgrounds consist of hardworking refugees, asylum seekers who have sacrificed so much for their loved ones. My own beautiful mother left everything behind and sought asylum here in Australia, just for their kids. As Australian, we're a descendant of immigrants at some point in our family's history, except for the Indigenous peoples on whose traditional and ceded lands we are located. Some people might have given the opportunity or the choice to leave the country, but I was never given that option because I was born in the wrong place at the wrong time. There needs to be a shift in thinking that giving refugees home is not an act of charity, but an act of justice. Nothing good has come out of hatred. And there will be people who will make us feel like as though part of our identity is wrong, but that is not true. Focusing on our core values, focusing on our strengths, beliefs, and most importantly, finding a community where you actually matter is so important because it will motivate you to succeed. Dear everyone, refugees shouldn't be limited to being burdensome. As a value member of our society, we can do our part to ensure refugees feel accepted and supported. It's simple. Next time you meet a refugee, listen to their stories. We can all agree that being far from home is a dividing experience. We need to allow for a change to happen. I believe that life is like a test, and tests are never supposed to be easy. So when you expect ease from life, but instead life gives you something else, don't blame life for that. Don't give up on that, because life is a test. My experiences has made me appreciate life so much more. Whenever I think of Afghanistan or Pakistan, I remember how many people are still in need. Our life, my life right now, might seem ordinary to us, but trust me, it will seem extraordinary to others. There are so many people around the world who are dreaming to live a life that we are living right now. You have no idea. So let's embrace each and every breath that we are taking, and let's celebrate our life. Thank you.